Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today, it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Bob James. He's the guitarist of Silent Theory. They have a new album that's out called Delusions, and we're going to be talking to him about that. And it's a great album, actually, so you want to pick this up. So, Bob, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
What's impressed you or excited you the most about making this new album, Delusions? What's caught your eye about, if anything?
You know, personally on our end, like, we'd kind of had a long period of a hiatus of sorts, like, before doing this album. So I think we were all just really excited to have new material to put out and share with people. And then when we released our song Fragile Minds as a single, it's just, you know, it's kind of taken off, and it's been so well received, and we got so much good feedback on it that, you know, it's been really exciting and motivating to start working on new stuff.
So when you guys took the hiatus, man, was it just to recharge and get everything going again, or just didn't know if it was going to come back together?
A little bit of both. So we've been together as Silent Theory for about 7 years now. And, you know, back in 2012, we went on a pretty decent sized national tour, and we're touring for our first album. And we felt like it was going really well. And then we kind of parted ways with our singer. It was just kind of like we were looking for different things out of life. And we'd brought in a guy that we thought might be the replacement, but, you know, it was, you know, just wasn't a good fit. Like, he's a great guy and a phenomenal singer. Just, you know, we tried to do some stuff and it wasn't working out. And so after that, we really took our time and wanted to make sure that we found the right person. And then it was just kind of serendipitous the way that Dakota came into our lives. And it's all been very, very productive and positive since then.
Any songs off the new album that stand out more to you than any on as of right now, if any?
So when we did Fragile Minds as our single, we also recorded a music video. And if you guys haven't checked out that music video, I encourage you to. We're really proud of that one. But we never really intended on releasing any sort of single or anything like that after that, with it, at least in regards to our song Watch Me Burn. But, like, the more the album was out and the more, like, we were getting feedback from people and stuff like that, we got, like, this overwhelmingly positive response to the song Watch Me Burn. And so a few months ago, we released a second video for Watch Me Burn. And it was basically just kind of like a thank you to the fans and stuff like that, and all the people who have been supporting us thus far. Just because, like, on iTunes and all that kind of stuff, like, it was a hands down, like, number 2 to Fragile Minds, and, like, it kept coming up in the comment feeds and stuff like that. And so we kind of felt like we owed it to the people supporting us to give them a little something.
Who produced this album, Bob, or did you guys do it yourself?
The production side, I would say it was mostly us, but we definitely got a lot of really good feedback and input and stuff like that from Jimmy Hill up at Amplified Wax. He was our sound engineer, and, like, he's a musician himself, and he's been doing recording for, you know, like 10, 15 years now. And he's got this beautiful studio that he just opened, and I don't know, it was a really good relationship. Like, we had some pretty definitive ideas of what we were trying to accomplish, and he knew how to get there, and then also had great feedback of, like, where we could make them just a little bit bigger or a little bit better.
So working with him, did he step in and push you guys when you needed to, or did he just let you guys just do your own thing?
You know, he's actually really good, because he does both, really. Like, because, he's really good at reading people and kind of knows when you just need to, like, you know, try it again and kind of work through something. But he also did a really phenomenal job of, like, coaxing some really amazing vocal stuff out of Dakota. Because, everybody has their style and their way of doing it. And, like, he was able to just pull some stuff that was a little out of Dakota's comfort zone and, like, get him in a place where he was doing it in a phenomenal fashion.
How much growth musically have you seen yourself and the band go through up to the release of this new album? Or has it been more of a personal growth for everybody? You
know, I think a little bit of both. But, musically, between our first album and our second album, I definitely think there's been a lot of maturity. The first album, I still love it, and I still, like, you know, I'll still jam on some of the songs. But it was definitely, we were at a different place in our life, and then a lot of the songs were more about, you know, like, partying and that kind of stuff. And, like, we still put a lot of effort into writing those songs. But I think the lyrical content and just the overall feeling of Delusions as compared to that is a more mature sound, and, like, more of a discussion about, you know, commonplace things that, like, you know, affect all of us.
Now, what about the recording and writing process? Do you guys do anything differently to, help keep your minds open and fresh, to not let anything get stale while you're doing it?
I think as much as possible, like we try not to rush recording a song, because sometimes it just works out if you can just like write a song, be like, yeah, that's good, and go record it, and it's perfect that first time. But as much as possible, when we write new songs, we try and work them into the set list and play them, for however long it takes, and just because it feels like the longer you play a song, the more you kind of like get a more full scope of the vision of it. And sometimes it's cool to record a song and then have like a slightly different, like more evolved version as a live kind of thing. But we definitely try and work through all of that as much as possible before recording stuff.
What do you hope the fans take away from this new album once they start to listen to it, or just Silent Three's music in general? What do you hope they get from it, Bob?
I hope that they take away a really positive experience. Like, I mean, the name Delusions kind of came out of the fact that a lot of the songs are written about like mental health topics and stuff like that. And it's something that is a point of interest for us, because I think it affects everybody, whether you realize it or not. And it's just like, there's a lot of songs, like our song Watch Me Burn it sounds kind of dismal and it kind of has that feeling, but it's really just like there to inspire a sense of community that like, we're all going through these crappy things together, and that like you're not alone, and just, don't give up because you feel alone, because sometimes you got to ask for help to get help.
What can fans expect at a show from Silent Three who have not got to see you guys live yet? What are they going to get when they come to see you all?
We really focus a lot on our live show because we're really huge fans of live music, and so we really try and like create that complete experience as far as from having an intro that we find interesting or funny, or just something to grab your attention, through like just high energy quality songs and just a really good connection. Dakota is very good at like interacting with the crowd and just like really speaking to people. And then we're also the band that as soon as we're done playing, we'll hang out all night. We'll be at the merch table. Like, we want to meet everybody who's there to support us. And so, I mean, we try and make it as personal as possible, in the sense that like we are very grateful and try very hard not to forget who got us to where we are and how we got there.
We're living in the digital era of recording albums and social media. Do you guys like this that we're in right now, to help get your music out quicker, and plus social media to, let more people discover you guys? How well is this helping you guys, and do you like this?
It is definitely a double-edged sword, because because of the things afforded to us by the internet, and things being so easily accessible. We have a lot of fans in places that we would not normally have been able to reach and stuff. Not just across the country, but I mean, we get messages from people in like Brazil and Germany and things like that, and it's pretty amazing that like, I mean, we'd love to go tour those places, but as of right now, that's not a realistic possibility for us. So it's cool that we're able to make those connections and reach those fans and stuff like that. I think the opposite to that, though, is almost with the over-accessibility. It kind of takes a toll on the live scene and some stuff like that. I mean, I could just be reading too much into it, but I personally feel like you play some places and it feels like the rock scene is not as robust as it once was, and I think it's partially just because it's so accessible. People are still buying or stealing or whatever. Like, people are still listening to rock and roll. Like, the rock and roll itself is far from dead, but there's not as much of, it feels like there's not as much people coming out to shows just to see shows or just to see what new music is out and stuff like that. So I definitely think the benefits outweigh the downsides and stuff, but it definitely is something that you have to kind of take one with the other.
I've even thought about bands doing, live shows through, not Skype, but through YouTube or something like that, going live and charging, like for like a pay-per-view or something. That would be something, a new way for folks to see their bands play, that can't make it out. That's another way possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think we're too far off from doing something like that.
Support-wise or popularity-wise, is there a country or a location that stands out that, or even surprises you, that you guys get support from that region or area?
I don't know if I'd say surprises, but I mean, I don't know. You're over in that Kentucky area. We actually have an official fan club out in Kentucky. It's out over by the West Virginia border.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. We just had a gentleman who messaged us and proposed a few things and asked if it was okay if they put together a fan club. And I mean, we're all about people who love our music, so we've been working with them and trying to help them grow their numbers and stuff. So that's kind of fun.
Wow, that's pretty shocking. I live close around that West Virginia area, so I'm in Floyd County. So
Oh, nice.
I don't know where did they say they were from exactly? What county or anything? Do you know? I'm sure you do, but
I honestly cannot remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up.
that is actually freaking amazing. I'll have to find out and check that out. That's pretty cool, actually. So, Bob, what does Silent Theory bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now?
It's sometimes hard to be innovative in this like era of rock because there's so many great things that have already been done. But I think what we really bring to the table is just like genuine rock and roll. We write about things that we're passionate about, and we don't just put words on a page just to have them rhyme. But we also, I mean, our music is heavy but melodic, and then like Dakota has a lot of like really unique talents that you don't see a lot in our genre of music. As far as like, he's a very talented singer, but he's also a very accomplished screamer. So we can have some of those things for accents to, you know, really kind of beef up the music a little bit. But Dakota actually has a pretty heavy background in hip hop, and we try and exploit that as much as possible. And so I think you'll see a lot more of that moving forward in our songwriting, kind of taking us more towards that Ashes to New kind of sound where it's like really heavy, really melodic, and, you know, get your head bobbing, but at the same time it has that really kind of a little bit of a hip hop flow to it. But I don't know, I think that's probably what would set us apart most.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, my friend?
You know, I've always kind of had the bug as long as I can remember. I mean, it was just one of those, like, when I was really little, just listening to music, all I could think about was, like, playing music. I remember when I was, like, 5 or 6 years old or something like that, me and my friend got our toy instruments out and organized a concert in the backyard. And, you know, I was on drums back in those days, but, you know, I've since moved to guitar. But I just added little things, like when I was, you know, younger, I remember my older sister being in the orchestra, and I was so jealous that she got to play an instrument and stuff like that. And so as soon as I was old enough, I got in the orchestra and just kind of progressed through the years. It's just, I don't know. Every time I listen to music, I can only ever imagine myself playing music.
If you could work with any musician, you know, even if they passed away or still alive today, or any band that's broken up that you like to get back together for a couple of days, who would it be, man, if anybody?
Oh man, that is tough. That is, I mean, the scope is so large because there's so many amazing people. But I don't know. I think one person that's always fascinated me, and I think outside of the music community doesn't get the notoriety that he really should have for the phenomenal musician he was, is John Entwistle from the Who. Mm-hmm. Like, that guy did so many amazing things that like just kind of went by the wayside because, you know, he was a bass player and stuff. But the things he could coax out of that bass that he played, it's always been fascinating to me.
Folks, Silent Theory's new album Delusions is out now. You want to get out and pick this album up. Great stuff from this band. They always have support here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber Radio. Bob, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, tour dates, pick up this album? How can they do that?
You know, the easiest way probably would be to head on over to Facebook and give us that big blue thumbs up. We definitely appreciate it. And we, you know, send us comments, send us a message, anything like that. We love talking to fans as much as possible. But you can find us on any of the major social media networks, on Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. You can also head over to our website, silenttheory.com. And from there, you can find links to all the social media. You can find a link to our web store if you want to look into buying the physical form of the CD, buy a T-shirt, anything like that. Christmas is coming up, so yeah.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely. This is Bob James of Silent Theory, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Go out and support Silent Theory. Thanks, folks.